What's happening? What's happening? Hi guys. Hi guys. Hey, how's it going? Um, yeah. Can I ask you guys a favor? Can anybody go on YouTube and go on the chat? For some reason, chat is not working on YouTube. I'm not exactly sure why. It says I'm streaming to YouTube. But let's see. I'll view on YouTube. Do I see anything? Is there chat in there? Oh, good. Good. Okay. Weird. Okay. I couldn't see it from the other thing. Gotcha. Don't want that echo. Let's get rid of that. Restore chat. What the hell happened? Oh, fuck. It's back to fucked up again. What the hell? What the fuck, man? I got Rumble. There it is. There it is. All right. I guess I just can't make it pop out for some reason. So, anywho, auto infanticide, Gert, HP, Altman. Good, good, good. I got Twitch. I got YouTube. I got Rumble chat all going. Good, good. Unfortunately, I can't take contributions through. Can't take contributions through YouTube. So if you could be kind enough and feel like giving any contributions, let's see. Who was that? Who was that? Somebody just gave a contro on Twitch, and I thank you. But my alert window was cut it off. God damn it. Let's see here. Alert box. Yeah, too low. I don't know who that was. Anyhow, I just moved it up. Who was that? Was that VJ ENIAC or somebody else? VJ ENIAC gave something that was 705. So, Alvman. There you go. Okay, Alvman is at the bottom. Thank you, Alvman. Much appreciated. Like I said, if you want to give cash or other contributions, please do it through Rumble. As of right now, I am not monetized on YouTube. So, yeah. Yeah. Let's see here now. I guess I'm going to have to obliterate my chat windows at times. I don't know why. Kind of sucks. So yeah. What if I hit pop out now? Pop out. There it is. Okay. YouTube pop out's working. Good. Let's go full size. No, it's no good. Great start. Good start. Let's see here. Rumble, YouTube. What happened to Twitch pop out? I need a third screen. That's what I need. I need a third screen. Oh man, give me a break. I need a third screen that's all for pop-out chats. Seriously. I don't believe this shit. There we go. Anywho. What are we talking about tonight? Tonight we're talking about, I guess I picked it up from the Hello album, so I decided I thought we'd touch on the Scumdogs of the Universe album. And, you know, it's weird. We just thought we were so great. we thought that was going to be the big moment where it's like, this band, we gotta have them. Here's $1 billion zillion. Here's $1 billion zillion. Please, please, please sign. And nothing happened. So even after Hello, and that's out, we're like wondering, well, now what? Is somebody else going to come along? And having heard the previous, of course, we were disappointed in the Hello album. Davey always used to make a joke on the during interviews. He said it was recorded over the telephone, which honestly, it sounded like it was, man. It really was pretty lo-fi. And as I was saying before, that's part of Mark Kramer's, you know, that was his aesthetic. That was his aesthetic. So, you know, we wanted to be the next, I don't know, Judas Priest or something, Metallica, Slayer, I don't know, but yeah, we're not getting there. Not on not on Shimmy Disc Records anyways. So maybe the next effort will get us there. Scumdogs CD changed my life forever, says Ep911. Great. Yeah. For me, it was Devo, Are We Not Men? For you, it was Scumdogs of the Universe. Everybody's got those moments, right? Identify a change. I remember because, you know, for me, I was listening to mostly classic rock. It wasn't even classic rock at the time. It was the rock at the time. It hadn't gotten old enough to be classic yet. So all that shit, Styx, REO Speedwagon, Journey, is Journey a little bit later? REO Speedwagon, Styx, Eagles, you know, ELO, all that stuff was on the radio. That's all I heard. And it was hand-me-downs from my brother. The only one that aged well from that era, too, was, I think, Van Halen. I still love Van Halen, but goddamn. The rest of it, I can take it or leave it. And Fleetwood Mac albums and stuff. Even my brother had better taste than I did. That's why he gave me those records. So, yeah, YouTube channel now called Sleazy P. No, it's called What'd You Do in the GWAR Daddy? So this is not Sleazy P. I don't know where he is. He couldn't make it tonight. I'm filling in. What'd you do in the GWAR Daddy with Drawn Dragon? It says Chemical Agent. Yeah, that's what it's called. Did GWAR make any money from the Beavis and Butthead game? Howard 1195. Let me clap between each word while I say no. Not directly, anyways. But it certainly had an indirect, big indirect impact on us, for sure. And I'm glad you asked because I'm going to talk about that subject somewhat extensively. Well, not extensively, but, you know, they're going to definitely be one of the major subjects I'm going to touch on tonight. So where to start exactly? Let me go through the chats and make sure I didn't miss anything. Let's see here. This is a restream. Well, yeah. Yeah, I'm going 4-way right now. Uh-oh. I sent a text a long time ago. Now I finally got the answer. But I'm assuming, yes, you guys are seeing me on YouTube. Yes. Okay, good. Let's see here. What's this? Oh, great. Yeah, I don't need that. Don't need that. Shooby dooby doo-wah. Let's see, where'd I go? Oh, a new subscriber. Jake Kiola. Hi, man. Hi, man. Welcome. Thanks. Appreciate it. Thanks for what? Did you? Oh, resubscribed. Good. That's good. That was the stuff from yesterday. Where's the latest? Anyhow. Let's get on with it. So where to start? So we've been on Hello. We've done Hello. We've been on Shimmy Disc Records. It's not the result we hoped for, musically, critically, or anything else. We're doing good touring, but our great records have yet to happen. So finally, we got a little sniff from a record company called Master. Yeah, Master. No. No, not that Master. Metal Blade Records, no. That's Live from Antarctica anyways. So Master was a little record label up and coming in Great Britain. I can blow myself up a bit. Oh, this doesn't have the this doesn't have my I don't have an alert. I've got to have my alert box. Let's see there. Good. Let me test it. All right. Thanks for following. Okay. Let me blow this up a bit so all you people can get your ego stroked by seeing your name nice and big. Anyhow. I had a I could go to this guy later. Itchy. $642. That must be the latest one. Where's my Master label? Huh. I guess Master label not there. That's okay. I'll just pull it up some other way. So it was a label run by this guy. It's called Buster Blood Vessel. You know, part of that comical sort of ska scene. You know, I would say very much in the vein of Madness. You know, as you can see, here he is acting up all over the place. Known in England in the underground, but definitely never got known in the United States. Never made any headway over here. And let's see, Blessed Bit Fissile. Let's see, go Master Records. See if something comes up with that. Whoop. Damn it. Nothing really. So I'll just go Master Records. Let's just jump to that so you can see the label. UK. Let's see, Master Records, UK. Let's see, that should give us something. There we go. There it is. That's the best I can do. That's how forgotten this whole label is, man. I've been searching Master Records. It finally took a while for me to remember. So what's the name of that guy? Buster Blood Vessel? Oh, yeah, Buster Blood Vessels. Yeah, so there's the name of the label. That gives you how small, it gives you an idea how small they were. And so they sign us, and well, at least they paid for we got a decent studio locally to record in. And so, you know, spent a full month, I think, on that record. And so, you know, it was good. It was a good effort. Not like we got a shit ton. We didn't get any bonus money to speak of, really. But, you know, they wanted us. And so that was, in a way, our next step. New subscriber, Thomas Carroll. Thank you very much. That was our next step. So they paid for the next record, and it was produced by, who was the producer? God, I used to know his name. Sad story. GWAR. This is worth knowing. GWAR, Scumdogs of the Universe, tab. Well made. Producer. Ron Gowdy. And I wonder if I look him up, it'll tell you what happened to him, fortunately. Story about that all on its own. Control V. Ron Gowdy. Yep, passed away. As an actor? The fuck? Maybe it's a Reverend Ron Gowdy. This is the Ron Gowdy I'm talking about, though. Yeah, he passed away in 2020. Ron Gowdy. Fucking. I'll be honest. It's like I thought his production on that movie, on that album, was mediocre. Very mediocre. It was a somewhat improvement on Hello, but considering his, I mean, the access, the equipment, and the recording studio and all that, I would have thought, you know, he could have done better. That's my honest opinion. You know, he passed on 2020. Well, when we were on tour in 2009, he came to one of our shows in Holland, and he looked like hell. He really did. He looked like hell. And he said he was living in Holland, and he had his own band. And the name of the band was, drum roll please, The Crackheads. And yeah, it was pretty autobiographical. I could tell. I could tell. Very autobiographical. Because he did not look well. In fact, he looked like a crackhead. So I'm not surprised he would pass away. I'm glad he lasted another 10 years, but I'm not surprised he passed away young, relatively speaking. Anywho, I got too many windows open. Anywho, let's see if I can move this shit around. Where's my catalog? There we go. So, this was the album. This was the album cover right here. I did the lettering. GWAR, Scumdogs of the Universe. That was my contribution. We had a decent photographer shoot the band professionally on a cyc. And the album cover was supposed to look, well, more like the reissue. Sorry. I can't tell what the fuck is what. Should have been label them better. Let's see here. This is the way the album should have looked right here. This is the way we want it to look. When we sent him the art, this is what it was supposed to look like. That was our concept. Just the band, a bloody white psych, you know, which we had to repaint, of course, because we fucked it up. But this is actually a different picture. It's been swapped out. I didn't know that. They re-released this. They obviously switched the picture because you can see different expression. See how Beefcake has a different, his hand in a different position, different expression. He's got this little surprise and fear. And I remember it was like, we give him the album art, and then we get this back, and we're like, what the fuck's going on? It's like, the band doesn't even appear to be standing on the ice, you know? It's like, it's not even in scale, you know? The glaciers that they're standing on, it just doesn't even fucking, it doesn't even make any kind of physical sense. So that should have been first indication of what we were in for, working with Master Records. So Master Records, I guess this is a story I should go into later, maybe if I remember it, as far as what happened with our relationship with Master Records. But anywho, we did the album, and and overall, we were certainly more happy with what came out than I would say, you know, much happier with the album and what came out of it as opposed to Hello. And you know, I remember riding around in my girlfriend's cool, she had a Fox body, all white 5.0 Mustang. Something I couldn't afford. But my girlfriend, and she had a nice stereo system in it. I remember popping that thing in and driving around in her car and listening to it. And it sounded pretty good. It sounded pretty good. So, you know, it was still a lot that we didn't like about it, but it sounded all right. You know, I think though it became obvious how much it could have been better. We became friends with, or developed a relationship with, oh God, now I can't remember his name. Brain fart. Al Jorgensen of Ministry, and he offered to mix a couple of the songs. So Mike Bishop went over there for a weekend. Apparently, basically, he worked on it for blow and beer. And knocked out Horror of Yig and Black of Huge. I don't know why we didn't go with his mix of Black and Huge. We should have. I think Black and Huge isn't a great song. It's okay. It's not great, and it could have used all the help that Al Jorgensen's mix would have given it. But I think when you listen to the album, you can hear Al Jorgensen's influence on Horror of Yig. All right, I think it's got a kind of a monstrous, a thicker, crazier sound, basically. But you know, got to be overall though. It's another solid step in the right direction. Hello is a masterpiece, says Jeremy Bruner. I'm glad you think so. There's some people who really love it. I had another girlfriend who kind of tried to turn me back onto it. She says she loves it, and she'd play it for me. And I was like, it had been years since I listened to that thing. It's like, okay, there's a couple of yucks in there, I guess. All right. Anyhow, so in conjunction with, so what happened was Master thought that we were going to do a second album. All right. Let's see here. I'll see if I can pull a search up. Let's see. Scumdogs of the Universe, tabs, Japan. Let's see if that comes up. Boy, I absolutely adored the packaging of the Japanese CD by Gemco. Absolutely loved it. Can't see it very well there, huh? See if I can get a bigger version of it. Nah. Any others? Long story short, Master. Oh, here it is. Well, here's the booklet. This is why I loved it, because it was awesome. It had that little. It was thick, and it had a little comic book in it, extra lyrics, and all this stuff. It was a beautiful package. It really was. I had it, and I just coveted it, but I lost it. Something happened to it. Gemco lost it. Anywho, what Master was doing was we had signed. It was a one-off. We signed a one-off with them. We told them, no, this is a one-off. We were doing one record, and an option to do a second one, but that was just an option. There was no guarantee that we were going to stick with Master and do a second one. Well, for distribution, to give away distribution or selling the distribution rights, Master went ahead and told labels like Gemco, foreign distributors, that GWAR was going to do 2 albums, and that the deal they were signing with Master was a 2-record deal. In fact, we all laughed. We thought it was hilarious when we saw the legal letter sent by Gemco explaining how they felt that, why they were mad they weren't getting their second album. And, we're like, not us, not our fault. This is a Master Records issue that you two have got to talk to each other. We're not in this. We told them 1 album, that's all you're getting. They decide to take that option to do 2 or whatever as a, rock solid, and no, we didn't do it. And the reason why, of course, was because Metal Blade. Now, once that fell apart, Metal Blade basically came sniffing around, right? Metal Blade came around, and finally we felt like it was closer to where we wanted to be, right? We wanted to be on Roadrunner, but hey, Metal Blade, the guy who's discovered Metallica, more or less, Brian Schlegel, was the man. There he is, right there. There's Brian Schlegel. Brian Schlegel and is this Kevin Faley or whatever? But there he is, Brian Schlegel, the man who discovered many metal acts, including Metallica. I'm not sure if Slayer, he was the one who kind of broke Slayer open. But Brian Schlegel was the next guy to come in and say, oh, okay, maybe we can do something with this act. And so the whole thing is falling apart from Master. What they did is they went to Master and they got the rights to Scumdogs of the Universe from Master, which probably made Master happy because they recouped all their money and probably then some, I'm guessing, right? And the record was already recorded, so that's good as far as Metal Blade's concerned. And yeah, so once Metal Blade comes along and decides to start to distribute the record, they decide to finance a DVD VHS, right? That was to go along with it. Here it is, GWAR live from Antarctica. This is actually a combination of Xerox and hand-drawn art done by Hunter Jackson this year. This is Chuck Varga's letters. He did these letters in this GWAR lettering, the old spooky kind of, I don't know what you call EC kind of style, gross letters, gutty letters. Kind of remind me of Basil Wolverton, definitely. Once again, Basil Wolverton influence very strong with Chuck Varga. Yeah, so let's watch a little bit of that, and I'll talk about what comes to mind with this event. So this was done at so Master Records paid for this. Okay, so there you go. That helps because that explains how Metal Blade came along and picked up the DVD as well, or the live show, and decided to distribute it as well, which is interesting. That lets me. I didn't know that, you know. Things go fuzzy as time goes on, right? And desktop audio I'm supposed to be running. I don't see anything else. Oh, there it is. No, not desktop audio. Okay, good. Down here. Gotcha. And so yeah, this was done at the Flood Zone in Richmond, Virginia, which was one of the bigger clubs there in Richmond. I would say it could hold anywhere from probably 300 to 400 people, I'm guessing, maybe 500. But it was a nice club because it had good stage access from the sides, and that's always important, so we can stash shit off to the sides, you know, and we can, you know, people don't have to. We can surprise the crowd with some things. They're not going to see everything before it has a chance to come out on stage. So, let's see here. Well, Metal Blade bought all the good shit for a few grand worth of blow and beers, says F911. It was always cheap. It was always cheap. We were always cheap. Typical artists. Artists that give themselves away for nothing, just so they can be liked. Deep down, just want people to like you. Artists have a tendency to always sell out cheap. Oh, you like me? You like me? Okay, here, take my life's work for pennies on the dollar. Yeah. But, you know, this is what the market will bear, frankly. You know, it's not like I feel like we were ripped off or anything. Somebody took a chance, which was Master Records, decided to do something with us, and then Master finally decided, well, okay, if this is worth you know, this might be worth continuing, and so yeah, okay, we'll pick it up from Master Records, which was, you know, thank God, really, because that allowed that album to get a lot more distribution in the U.S. than it would have done for Master. In fact, I think it was, I don't know if it was ever released domestically. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. Master gave U.S. distribution, sold or gave U.S. distribution rights to Master or Metal Blade. That explains a lot. That's why this thing has Master on the front in the credits. Okay. By the way, that of course that gold suit was done by Danielle, the fantastic sleazy costume designer Danielle Stamp, also known as Sly Mr. Hyman. She was responsible for all of Sleazy's looks after I moved on past the thrift store leisure suit, you know, solution, which is what I used to do. And I gave this lecture. I talked about this before. One of the reasons why I went for rubber hair and vinyl suit was because, you know, the same reason everybody else in GWAR kind of converted to latex. It was easy to wash off. You know, have vinyl, you can wash it off. You have a polyester suit, you get stained, and you're fucked. You try to wash it in between the next show and hope it dries, and even if you wash and dry it, the suit just gets all wrinkly and just loses all life, and it looks terrible in no time. So, yeah, the vinyl suit designed by Danielle Stamp, and yeah, I think she's a major part of making that character, giving that iconic look, you know. Her Danielle helped in the creation of Lady Gaga's meat dress, of course. Like, yeah, she's worked with Lady Gaga out there. She's working in LA now. She helps manage a set design shop, and the real girl boss out there. Unfortunately, between the COVID and the writer's strike, you know, business dropped off for her a bit. She's found ways to work for other corporations, and you know, I'm pretty sure she'll always land on her feet. She always does. She's a hustler, definitely a hustler, in a good way, hustler, not the bad way. Set looks great. Yeah. Skull, still reused, but that's the old Guy Kurtz, Chuck Varga skull. I always loved GWAR's early skull logos. Everybody has a skull. Our skull had braces on it. That was what was so hilarious. If you don't see the humor of a skull with braces on it, it definitely, to me, it was talking about our audience. It was talking about our mentality. You know, we were adolescent. You know, that's what it was. It was adolescent. You know, aesthetic. Basically, combined with metal aesthetics, right? So you end up with this big goofy skull here with braces on its teeth. Opening rap from King Queen is quintessential 90s metal. I always loved that song. That was one of my favorites, and I don't think it got enough coverage, shall we say. You know, one of the GWAR songs that got as much love as, say, some of the others. It got too much love, like Sick of You. I always thought Sick of You was meh. But I remember Master Records telling us, no, we're pretty sure that's going to be your hit. We've, after listening to all the singles, yes, it's going to be, we're going to emphasize Sick of You. And they were right. Kind of, that was the hit. Still to this day, probably certainly in the top 5, if not the top 3 of hit songs, right? Sick of You. But so at this point, and if you're wondering how characters get designed, how they develop, I went over this before, but early on it was sort of like make a piece, pair of shoulder pads, a helmet, a body, part, suit, or greaves, feet. Make something like that, and then it migrates around, and hopefully it finds a home with one of the characters. Kind of what happened. So Beefcake the Mighty, more or less, was, you know, that was my character design. I did the shoulder pads on Ballsack that you see there. I decided to take those in the direction of stone, you know, like he's hewn out of stone. Beefcake, the idea is, you know, Roman Empire taken to an exaggerated degree. You know, but I didn't do all the pieces on Beefcake. Just like nobody did all the pieces on any one character to a degree. Although people took over them and kind of pushed their direction. Flatus Maximus, I gave him sort of the Metrodon type, I guess, kind of like frog-like skulls, and then Mike Bonner came along, followed up, and gave him those skulls right there, those Stechiosaurus skulls. That's what he gave him, and so that, you know, we would talk about this in, we'd come up with these ideas in the middle of interviews. So, you know, we'd cut these jokes and sort of create mythos improv. And one of the things was that Flatus invented music. He killed all the dinosaurs and stretched their gizzards across the Grand Canyon, would pluck them, and that's how music was created. Haha. You know. So, you know, once we had that theme, then that character Flatus, and even to this day, is basically driven by that. See, all that kind of dinosaur stuff. So he always had lots of animal gear and skin and whatnot on him. You know, Jizmac of this era was a Hunter Jackson helmet design, and that was part of the confusion of what Jizmac is all about. The way Hunter did him is that's not a mask. That's just really the way his head's supposed to look. Like he's some sort of mutant Scumdogs creature, right? This big lower jaw. You know. When I did the second version, I reinterpreted that and thought of it as, boy, that must be an outtake. That looks like a total B-roll shot there. Obviously, whatever was happening on stage, there was no camera operating that was working. But anywho, you know, and I remember Hunter didn't like that. You know, that would piss people off, is when you take over design of a piece from some other artist, right? But yeah, I switched Jizmac's mask, so it was like, well, no, I was thinking more along the lines of, he's, thank you for following, Kazu Takitsuni 145, thank you for following. That was as if he was Hercules, you know, and Hercules, of course, had a lion skin and a skull, you know, that he would wear. And that's kind of the way I visualize it, as some prehistoric dog-like creature he had killed and pulled over his head. But, you know, and it stayed that way ever since then. That's why I gave it teeth up top, too, you know. If you look at the Gizmac that Hunter designed, he doesn't have any teeth up front. Thank you, Krogon One. Much appreciated. Beefcake invented music? No, it was, it was Flatus. Flatus, in the GWAR mythos, Flatus invented music, killed all the gizzards, all the dinosaurs, and used their gizzards to make instruments. The classic decap. That was sort of like, you know, well, that was the second major GWAR effect that we really got going. We used to just take blood bags and tape them to weapons, and we'd hit each other with the blood bags, the weapons, and the blood bags would pop under the impact of the weapons. And we used that technique right to the end. Thank you, Pogo and Patches. We used that technique right to the end. But that was a starting point. Once we actually start spewing on the audience by you know, once we decided to actually try to spew on the audience, it was the arm rip was the first thing, and then it was the decap was the second thing. And yeah, it doesn't get much older than the decap as far as audience participation, GWAR effects. So at this point, we had switched over to fire extinguishers. We were no longer. Originally, the arm rip was a hot water bottle with blood, and the actor held the bottle under his arm, and he squeezed it by pumping his arm, and blood went to the other arm through behind the jacket, out this, and out came out of the stump. It was supposed to be his other arm. So we started, Muscle's breakthrough was, let's go steal fire extinguishers from VCU campus, because they had a lot of water extinguishers. They had a lot of water extinguishers. Were perfect, because they had a tire gauge valve on the side, and actually an inflatable valve, pressure valve, which is great, because it told us if it was losing pressure. You know, and that happened a lot. You sit there and try to pressurize them before a show, and it would be fine, and you didn't seal it quite right, and then right before you're supposed to go on, it's like, oh no, all pressure's gone. Sit there and have a decap and the blood. Nothing that made me madder than an effect that didn't go off, and still to this day, I'm always livid. You know, and some effect doesn't work. It's like, yeah, we've been doing it this long, we should know what we're doing, but still fuck up. Still see that dry spew and stuff like that. Saw this tour in Toronto, if I recall. This was the first time you guys used film on tour with a screen above. Stage correct. I don't think so. It was shortly after this tour, though. I know what you're talking about. We had Granbo. Granbo was part of that tour. Although, you know, our tours are constantly changing. Even show to show, the shows would change quite a bit. And, you know. Such a simple gag. Hilarious, though. You know? I miss that. Our sound effects aren't what they used to be. And Dave Muscle was created that soundscape around the band that was constantly going. You can always hear it. There was always these weird noises, burblings and farts, and wind blowing in the distance, and you know, it was always creating an alternately very creepy and very funny, you know, soundscape around the band that I miss, I miss that. It's, once you left, that never really, truly was, I'd say, done nearly as well. Never, ever, ever was as good. And, the Dave Muscle effect, big part of GWAR to me. Just thought Vincent Price helped me fly out. Was Sleazy a pants stuffer, or was that all Don's as GWAR slave? Well, wouldn't you like to know? Don, do you have any footage of the giant ass GWAR on stage one time? Of the giant ass? Are you talking about the butt cannon? We did and this is infamous. This is a great story. This is a real important story, kind of, right up here. Another thing we did, but Chuck Varga made the ass cannon, and yeah, I spent all this time making this big giant ass, and after it was all done, found out we couldn't fit it out the door. 801 Broad would not fit out the door. All that work, man. So Dave Muscle came to the rescue. He cut the entire thing in half and then remounted it onto plywood with a framing so that the two parts could bolt and unbolt together. And so, yeah, we had to take it apart. This is me as a victim. So I am the rock star here. I'm the rock star, and in a way, that mask we never fully we kept using it, recycling, and it became the art fag that was killed in Slaughterama. But originally, it was the original face rip. Was a rock star that runs out during Maggots and starts soloing on stage with GWAR. Yeah. And let me tell you, man, you get the face rip blood effect. It's a scary victim to be. At times, people have been in there and somebody starts working the blood too early because they want the blood to be fresh coming out when Dave pulls the thing off. Because it always looks better. If it's dry when he pulls it off, it looks really fake. But if it's all, blood's all coming out and all, it looks awesome. I remember various GWAR slaves talking about how they were inside. They were like, I'm drowning in here. Dave's got you in a headlock. You can't get the mask off. So they're trying to, break free and get them off you so you can breathe. It's dangerous to be a GWAR slave. I said it before. Matt McGuire, 5, 6, 7 concussions on stage from low blows, from axes and things like that. I myself, lucky, why no stage appearance in Canada, says William Fleming. I know not specifically of what you refer to. I do not know what you refer to. Any GWAR before 96 is the best, says Jeremy Brenner. Glad you think so. I like GWAR. I like GWAR in the 2000s. Even though it lost a lot of the extra characters, I like the music better. And the costumes got a lot more polished. But that's me. I just wanted to see costumes and effects get more, more polished and believable. So, let's see here. There's the famous, of course, giant vinyl beefsteak covering for the beefcake, the beefcake base, right? And Danielle, I don't know what we were thinking. The whole great white conflagration had not happened yet. And Danielle, hell, man, she'd lose control of those things every once in a while. There was plastic often above us on stage. We'd have low stages in clubs, and they had put plastic on the ceiling to keep the blood from staining everything up there. And those flames, they would reach the plastic. And invariably, Scott Crawl, who would be running Spew, he'd just calmly, take one of the hoses and just put it out. That was one thing that was good. We didn't have to worry about fire when we were on stage, at least from our point of view, because there was always plenty of spew ready to go and put it out at that crucial early moment. Unlike Great White. Great White, you should have had more spew in your show. You wouldn't have burned up all those people. How many of us had a crush on Sly Menstra Hyman back in the day? Glad you did. She had stage presence, as far as I could tell. Something we haven't been able to repeat with that either. Not been able to repeat that either. Do you have any footage of the giant? Okay, yeah, I was just talking about that. When did you start doing the sleazy character? Last we saw you was pre-Bozo Destructo. Well, I started doing the sleazy character in '86, and then if you would have caught the... oh, look at that. What the hell? She's dancing on people's heads? What's going on there? Dancers on a green screen. Anyhow, if you saw, and you should go back and watch it, the Origin in the Dairy days, did my first appearance as Sleazy P. Martini in the Halloween show of 1986 at Schaefer Court. And I didn't even have a wig. Just my hair and some cheesy mustache and eyebrows drawn on. So, I was sleazy before I was Bozo. I was sleazy before I was Bozo. I was techno. I just took over Hunter's character for a while, and then he came back from Detroit and wanted his character back. And after some fighting back and forth, Dave said, "Hey, why don't we have two Techno Destructos and you can both fight over who's the real Techno Destructo?" That was one way to solve that problem. One way to solve that problem. I wish I'd have thought of that right off the bat. It would have saved us a lot of stress. Boy, this shit looks dim as fuck. By the way, though, unfortunately, this is like a 200 meg, very small copy of this that I'm showing right now. So it takes what is an underlit show, and boy, it really needs some front lights, man. It's a very underlit show. Takes a very underlit show and makes it even dimmer, even blurrier. But Dewey Rao was not going to be. He's Flatus Maximus, and he's not going to be in the band much longer. So he's going to leave after this album series. He is gone before America Must Be Destroyed, I believe. Excuse me, was it Toilet Earth? Toilet Earth the next album? Yeah, Toilet Earth's the next album, which I'll do next, that era. But once again, those musicians, I don't want to lay blame specifically on any of them by name, but they were always there was always somebody picky about the sound we had. So, You have Hello and Mosby's gone, replaced by Brad Roberts. And we almost were thinking of having Chris Contos while we were on tour on the West Coast. Our earliest tour, we did a intermediate tour. We had Jim Roberts drum for us as an intermediate drummer between Rob Mosby and Brad Roberts. And, Jim Thompson was the drummer for Alternatives. If you were following the first origin story, he was a member of the Alternatives. He was the drummer for the Alternatives, and he came back and drummed with us. And while we were up in the Northwest, we got to meet the Sub Pop people. In fact, I think Sub Pop put out a single with Jim Thompson as a drummer during that. So that was kind of like an in-between, also label support, if you want to call it that. It wasn't really label support. They just we recorded a Sub Pop single with them. We had Jim Thompson drumming on it. Peter Lee is better. Why he's inked to me, says James Belcher. I would say Pete Lee was technically a better guitarist. Certainly his virtuosity was superior to Dewey Rao. Dewey Rao was more of a good punk rock, chord guitarist. He had a really at times he had a cool muddy sound, but it was very iffy. Like from place to place, show to show, how it was going to sound. It's sort of like it's a lo-fi guitar sound, and if everything isn't just right, it sounds it can sound pretty bad. The band itself, at this point in time, it was iffy. Certainly, it was the reputation at the time was the music was somewhat picked on, I guess, or dismissed. I don't think it was as bad as many people claimed, but at the same time, the show was so earth-shaking, mind-blowing and crazy and insane. I think mentally people wanted the music to be just as out there and crazy, and that's hard to achieve. That's hard to achieve, I would say. Right now it's a punk starting to transition into metal, kind of parody metal. But it's still not that Metal Blade chunk downstroke stuff. Chunk. We're still not a band that is necessarily capable of playing that, which I think is a good thing, honestly, because you try to sound like Metal Blade. You try to sound like Metallica, you're not going to do it as well. And there were so many other bands who were thrash metal and all that were tighter, playing it better. I'm kind of glad that they went with this sort of wonky punk metal, Yeah, because, the other thing would have, I think, sounded too generic and too predictable in a lot of ways, and too derivative, I would say. Who's playing the groupie here? This is Scott Crawl. Scott Crawl usually played the Bad Biker Bitch, or Hunter Jackson played by a Bad Biker Bitch. Hunter loved playing the Bad Biker Bitch. I'm pretty sure that Scott did too. Hunter loved to dance around, shake his butt, and do things with the double dildo. Yeah, love being that character. But Scott Crawl, by the way, if you didn't know, old friend of Dave Brocky. So he's from Northern Virginia too. Thank you for following, File Marker. And yeah, we went to the same high school. Scott Crawl was Dave Brocky's buddy from high school. And he went to VCU as well. Came down and went to VCU. And it was just natural that he would, get involved with GWAR, being that he was one of Dave's oldest, dearest friends. As far as this era, it was totally crunchy. Which was the best, says Timur Korea. In my opinion, not as great as the 2000s era, but on the other hand, a lot of people prefer this, and I can understand why. Yeah. It has a, like I said, it's a wonky punk metal. You know, it in a way, I don't want to say that GWAR was a big part of grunge, but I find it interesting that they went up to Northwest and were well received there, got involved in some of the people who were involved in that scene. Believe it or not, we're in talks of possibly getting, God, what's his name? You know, from Foo Fighters. We're in talks with him to be our drummer. And like I said, we looked up and we tried out Chris Contos for a while and be our drummer. Luckily that didn't work out. But I loved Chris Contos' double kick. He had great technique. It was fucking awesome. But when you hear, for instance, the next album, was it Toilet Earth? When you hear Pussy Planet, it sounds like it's a rip-off of Nirvana. It's so weird that we were picking up a lot of the grunge influences and vice versa. Because that's just sort of what this sound reminds me of too. This is sort of like grunge metal. I guess that's really kind of more a better description of it. Doesn't it? Was it anybody? Dave Grohl. Thank you, Pete Sounds. Yeah. Dave was in talks with Dave Grohl. Because Dave Grohl's from Virginia originally. Pretty sure. So he was from Virginia initially. Boy, did Dave lay into him later on. I guess jealousy. That shit he says about Dave Grohl is like, can't sing. Somebody can't sing because he's sucking so many dicks, corporate dicks. He's got too many corporate dicks in his mouth or some comment like that. And, like, wow. Once again, GWAR burning bridges with other people in the industry. Unnecessarily so. I was I was doing a search and I came across Blothar talking shit, saying he went and saw Metallica recently live. He says it's the worst show ever because Lars Ulrich's drumming is so bad. Like, yeah. I mean, punch down, punch up. I don't know. I'm not sure if you want to burn that bridge, Metallica, really? This entire reality is unacceptable. It's like a lot of fans, possibly, of both. Not like a band you want to shred. If you're going to ridicule somebody, it's probably a good idea to ridicule a band that your fans might not be into, right? Much as we might want to talk shit about ICP or something like that. Actually, there's a lot of ICP crossover, fans. And the same thing with Slipknot. I think Corey Taylor knew that a little bit. He got irritated, and he talked shit about GWAR, and Dave had to retaliate, which is fine. You know, he had to talk back, but you know, Slipknot's not a band that I would go shit on, no matter how I felt, just because there's too many crossover fans. It's not smart, you know. Is there a list of concert dates? I'm trying to figure out when I saw GWAR play in Wisconsin with Electric Hellfire Club in the early 90s. The man who would know would be Bob Gorman. He's kind of the archivist, but I would say that a likely place to find that might be, unfortunately, in the big GWAR anniversary book. There probably might be a listing in there for that. So I would say that's a logical place to try and find if there was if GWAR did a show, when GWAR did that show there. Electric Hellfire Club. Give me a city. Because the only place I ever remember playing, it was probably Madison. Is that Madison? Because the only other place I can think of that we would ever play in Wisconsin was Milwaukee at the Eagles Ballroom. And I'll never forget a show we did there early on. That was the one that rained indoor, but we did it with Killing Joke, who I love. I love Killing Joke. Killing Joke, way underrated. Way underrated. Yeah. I wonder if that's Madison. How were the odorous horns mounted? Is a helmet? Is he wearing his helmet? Oh God, that's so irritating. I'm not sure which horns you refer to. Not sure. An odorous? Yeah. How were odorous horn mounted? Is a helmet. Are you talking about on the shoulder? Fiberglass. A dowel bolted, screwed, or cemented on the inside of that shoulder pad. Killing Joke's first LP is classic. Love Killing Joke. I've often thought if I keep working on this channel and people give a shit, I'd like to do from a naive, non-musician's point of view, bands that are overrated and bands that are underrated. You know, here's overrated, here's underrated, and they would be, you know, similar. Some elements of them similar. Deserve more. I just feel like, for instance, you could probably go. Red Hot Chili Peppers. They're so overrated. And then the alternative would be Faith No More. Maybe not appreciated enough. Short-lived. Or Mr. Bungle. Are their bands rated just right? It's hard to say. Guns N' Roses overrated, says Ponderous Nutbagus. I would say, oh, by the way, I directed this. And as you can see, these are all B-roll shots. I remember talking to this crew. It was a film crew hired by Hunter. And so I'm directing them, but I feel like I'm not sure they really are taking me seriously in the directorship of this scene. Obviously, Hunter is playing. I'm pretty sure Hunter's playing the rock star in this because I'm directing, so I'm not in that costume this time. But the whole time we're shooting this action, I'm constantly going to them in between takes, and I'm going, did you get good close-ups of the lead singer? You know, did you get good close-ups? You can see his mouth move. I want tight. Did you get that? And there was no video assist whatsoever. I just had to trust their fucking word when they, shot the video, if they got what I asked them to get. And I can remember when I got all the footage and I started reviewing it, and I just was so fucking livid. Because not a fucking one of them listened and did what I said. And I asked them and I told them over and over. So we had to do this. We had to go to their studio and shoot it against a wall. We threw up a bunch of smoke and we lit it in such a way that you can't really tell what's behind them, And we did close-ups of him and Danielle and Sexecutioner and Beefcake doing close-ups. But my breakthrough, my cool idea was we were going to have this death pit. And the fans, we'd get the fans to participate, and they'd come forward and get killed, and they would fall into the pit. And it was really simple to make. All we did was just made an extension off of the stage. We took two big platforms that were level with the stage, and then between the stage and those platforms, we had built these large faux, like wood, chained, whatever you want to call it, medieval-looking, wood-looking doors, and we put some red gels down there to make it look like there's fire going out of there. There's me. As a matter of see there, that little glimpse of me. I'm in there. I was one of the stage victims for that scene. But livid at the underline. But when I look at this whole video, these wide shots, you just tell how underlit. How the front lighting was so underlit for this production. But one of the best parts of this live show is, at the time, Flood Zone had a 16-track recording studio in the club, if you want to call it the club. They had a recording studio there. And so, from this perspective, what we're looking at right now, there was a control booth with a mixing table, watching the show and working the levels, and this is not your shitty live show recording at all. It's a 16-track live recording of the show, and that's the best thing to me about this show, really, is that it's a live show, it's one take, and it's got 16-track recording. And I don't think it was ever a live show like that. That was videotaped as well simultaneously. So, that's the coolest thing about this show, I think. Wasn't Sick of You Dave's favorite song because it meant the show was over, says Gert W. He probably said that during a interview, but no, I doubt it very much if that was his favorite song. Jesus Christ Superstar. Man, we love Jesus Christ Superstar. We played the shit out of that, the stage version of the soundtrack in the Slave Pit. Hunter loved it. I loved it. Chuck loved it. The artists specifically, we loved that. And we had to borrow heavily from it for the music. We made them use elements of it from Jesus Christ Superstar. But that's the 40 Lashes song part. Yeah. Borrow Star Trek. I'm Up Time. Fight song, use that all the time. But I guess this is the stage where we have two Tetnaz soon. Yeah, there I am.
Hey, buddy, I don't know who the fuck you think you are, but only I, Bozo,
that's out of sync.
Has the master's right to destroy GWAR.
Ah, that was awesome. That worked so well. It was a big old bubble, and I smashed it with a hammer. That rarely worked that good. Rarely. That was phenomenal, I gotta say. I listen to this a lot before work. I hate my job, so this helps a lot, says none of your business. I like California by Bungle, but I don't know if I could be in a room with Patton. Well, I met him. He was all right, but at the same time, you can't tell what people really like on one meeting. People like go, oh yeah, he's super nice. Super nice the first time you met him. Super nice in that situation. You know? Sometimes, you know, you got to get to know people for a little while. Find out why they're irritating. What's wrong with them. You know, there's always not everybody's upfront evil. I fucking hate you. It doesn't come out of their mouth right away. Sometimes they hold back on that kind of information. Me and Hunter's relationship, you know, somehow we made it work, but you know, he always resented me and Dave to a certain degree, you know. But everybody who had, you know, were very anybody who was opinionated and had their own ideas kind of rubbed Hunter the wrong way, to a degree. You know, and the reason, of course, was that Hunter, you know, Hunter felt like GWAR was his baby, and the other people kind of took it from him. You know, I mean. And I don't hold that against Hunter. That's just the way he was. He's, you know, he's very protective. And our choreography was so much better back in the day. We were younger. We took the pratfalls. We were big fans of wrestling, and we didn't half-ass this shit, man. People were always getting thrown around, taking falls. Real kicks to the head, you know, real stunt fighting, not this shit that you are more likely to see. There's the infamous clam slam, ladies and gentlemen. Slyminster Hyman's infamous clam slam. But, yeah, this was the way we would usually wrap up every battle with the Technos. Slyminster would come in and save the day. Got any of that really cool bug juice? I'm right there with you, Hunter. Let's go. How cool. Dewey Rao helped get our pyro going. He was a big part of the pyro, early pyro. And that was probably his idea. But between Dewey Rao and Dave Munsell, I learned a lot about pyro, how to do it. And I did all the pyro in the Cardinal Sin video. There's definitely a science to it for doing special effects as opposed to stage effects. I mean, movie special effects as opposed to stage special effects. Virus Gorehound, thank you. Figured out how to use Rumble. Greetings from my fellow Twitch follower. Long live Sleazy. What, man, Virus Gorehound, thank you so much for your generous contribution. If anybody else can help me out, and so that I will be encouraged to keep these coming, and you know, we can learn. I'm going to relearn about GWAR history. So I have to watch this stuff, get triggered by it, you know. It's like you have to see this stuff again, and you go, oh yeah. DJ ENIAC, thank you, sir. By the way, we will be any Twitch followers join me over at DJ ENIAC's show. That'll be fun. But there's Danny Black, he's our roadie, and of course there's Scott Crawl, and there's Mike Bonner. And Hunter's right. Hunter Bonner, Mike Bonner was, that's Bobby Gorman maybe. I think it is. Mike Bonner kind of really defined the slave character and really made it, part of the GWAR mythos, and helped it kind of take on its the I don't know, the look and feel of what it is to be a GWAR slave, right? And, of course, he was one of the first ones to start running around with a giant dick. I can't help but think he predated Dave Rocky slightly. 11 Shovel 11, thank you, much appreciated. I wonder if he did. See his giant dick there? Yeah, he put a squirt bottle in there and he would shoot all over the audience. That was his one of his gags. And Bonner made some definite contributions to the overall look and attitude of GWAR characters and how they DJ, yes. Steve, thank you. Thanks for making the donuts, Donnie. Who's Donnie? Yeah, this is how we would close out the song, close out the set at this time. Generally, it would be a cool place to park because it made sense. It was easier to allow for Dave to take over the bass, and since we didn't have to switch back. Mike Bishop, i.e. Beefcake. Great green screen, huh? That's a wrap. I guess he was run over by a truck. I don't know. Iris Gorehound, monthly supporter, much appreciated. I got to piss like a racehorse. I don't know how much of this is left. If I leave now, chances are I'll miss part of it. He's so bad. Is that the end? Me too big! Payday finally! How can you remember all this? I can't remember last week, lol. It doesn't help that I was, I partook in a lot of, shall we say, memory blocking drugs, pharmaceuticals, whatever you want to call them. That was a good set list here. I kind of was thinking maybe GWAR might have shown up, but apparently GWAR's not in this. We haven't made GWAR yet, or he certainly would have been in this. So he's coming up later. Gert, what's your favorite Beefcake song? I would say Road Behind, if you want to call that a Beefcake song, but it's not. It's a duet, right? With Odorous and Beefcake. So I would say that. A lot of people like, what is it? A lot of people like, what is it? I Hate Love Songs. That's a Casey, though, So I'm not sure if you can compare Casey to Mike Bishop when singing as Beefcake. But, yeah, that's it. I gotta pee. I know. Before I wrap this up, I can run something that'll allow me to take my tinkle and still be able to come back and wrap the show up. God, I gotta pee so bad. Oh! Where is it? Where is it? Here, I'll just search something here. Because this is what we're talking about. Somebody brought this up. And, I definitely need to talk about this. Because it's definitely worth talking about. In case anybody forgot, this is the last 5 minutes of the Beavis and Butthead game, in which I will come back and talk about that experience. I will be right back. Oh, gotta pee so bad. Oh, I got old man bladder. I got old man bladder. So I realize now you brought up this, and it's not really applicable to this era, because we have not been in the game. We don't do the game during this album cycle. We did it, I assume, because it has Jack the World in it. We did it during the America Must Be Destroyed era. So yeah, this is Destroy America era when we did this the song and where we appeared in this game. But this experience is why I learned to hate Viacom, and I hate them to this day. There it is, Jack the World. As you can see, and you'll see later on in the game, I could turn this fucking thing down. Is it just desktop? Yeah. The characters are drawn by Hunter Jackson. So they wanted to put us in the game. Hunter put all this work into it. He designed the characters. Hell, he might have even come up with some of the keyframes for it. You can see Ballsack there. That's his Ballsack. The way he drew it. So when we went and we took all this to we were excited to be in the game. It was a big thrill, and thought it would really help us. But the Viacom didn't want to pay us anything, even for the work we did. You'd think they would just be, hey, here's a couple of grand. Thank you for the contribution. Thank you for contributing to the game. And no, man. And we tried to play hardball with them. And at the time, we had a lawyer who was kind of, could be the type who would play hardball. Finally, they budged. And their idea of budging was basically they just stacked a deal on the back, a profit making on the back end that was just going to be impossible to meet. Like, you know, if we make $1 trillion, you get 0.0000001%, you know, some shit like that. But Viacom MTV had already perfected the art of the cheap deal with the music industry, in case you didn't know, right? When you probably already know this, but when a radio plays a record, plays a song by a band, they have to pay the publishing, pay for the publishing company some, you know, small percentage every time that song is played. And MTV shows up and they're like, they go to the metal industry, it's like, or the music industry, and they go, oh, we're just an up and coming little label. We're a little cable network, and we have no money. We're just doing this for shits and giggles, and because we're such fans, and you know. Basically, they convinced the labels to allow them to run these music videos without paying any royalties. Any mechanicals, no royalties, nothing. They said, we're doing promotion. You should be happy. And admittedly, early on, whoops. Oh, I was pulling shit out of myself. Early on, you know, it did help these bands, you know. And so the labels kind of saw it as promotion, right? But later on, after a while, when MTV was basically running only really big acts and running the shit out of them all day, when the labels came after them and said, hey, could you maybe pay us a little percentage of that that money that you're making off of all this free content? It was free content, for fuck's sake. What a great business model. I'm gonna get a bunch of people to make me free content. I run it. That kind of reminds me of someone else now that I think about it. That model would be well exploited in the age of digital content, online streaming, and whatnot. At least you can, you know, you can receive money from your fans this way. But they're taking their take. But you know, at least you can take it directly from the audience. But no, there was no money. There's no way of doing that with the old-fashioned MTV. It was. It's a fucking ripoff. But yeah, all that work, all that time put into that video game. Hunter did a lot of the character design that they used. They used it in the game. You can see it. You see Ballsack. I could find that exact drawing probably somewhere in a Hunter Jackson drawn GWAR comic. But yeah, they didn't pay us a goddamn penny. It was such a waste of time. It was such a waste of time as far as trying to negotiate with them. But admittedly, that game did help. Beavis and Butthead and Joan Rivers were the two biggest plugs that GWAR ever got in its career. They basically rode those two things, you know, into notoriety, and exploited that. They kept him afloat for years, right? Kept him around for years. What did GWAR use in his jizz sauce? Says Mucking Mud. Cream oil. It was a bad idea, though. And early on, used something like cream oil mixed with water. But the tanks, well, you have to clean them thoroughly, and usually you couldn't. And god damn, that shit would get funky. It would get so awful funky because it'd go bad. Remnants of cremora and water, growing bacteria inside the tanks. It was awful. People used to get hit with some old cremora laden jizz and in the mouth, and they would report, thinking it was really sperm because it tasted so bad. I can't blame them. I can't blame them, man. Bonus plan, best beefcake song, says Magumba. Yeah, everybody's got an opinion, for sure. So, yeah. Well, I think that's it for this episode. If I go back into a few more, any photos or anything like that, I don't know if I have anything else pulled up. I think, though, that the Scumdogs album, I touched on it, I think, pretty, fairly, pretty well. I don't think a lot of people realized that it was on a British label, Master. And then it just was taken over by Metal Blade. So, little British label responsible for getting that album out the door. And yeah. A little indie label in Britain that was run by some fat ska guy. What was his name? Busta. Blood Vessel. Yeah, there he is. Bad Manners was the band he played with. Does anybody remember Bad Manners? But yeah, I remember 3 stories during this era. So we go over there after we've been signed by them, and we meet with them. He takes us to an Indian restaurant. And, just like all British, he fucking loves his Indian cuisine, man. So we eat the shit out of a bunch of Indian food while we're there. But one of the things they did, and it sticks with me. So they told us something about a record release party. And I was confused. I don't know if anybody else in the band was confused, but I thought it was our record release party. Like this is a party for the release of the Scumdogs of the Universe album. And obviously the label, these guys, they just knew somebody who knew somebody at another label who was having a record release party. And pretty sure it was Poison. It was some stupid American glam rock band. I think it was Poison. Might as well been. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that it was Poison. But I think it was. Anyhow, so we show up at this place, and it's a record release party, and we quickly realize we see these, these glam rockers and other people that are there, and the thing is already kind of over, It's you could tell, like, almost all the hors d'oeuvres were gone. The tables were, it wasn't much left. There was some, and for a bunch of starving artists like us, of course, we immediately, hey, yeah, yummy, whatever was on the table we were gonna eat, and I remember so clearly. I remember seeing Poison in their entourage, looking around when these bunch of fucking losers, these hard scrabble, I don't know what you want to call them, borderline homeless looking, punkers come. We weren't punk really then anymore. I don't know what we were. you know. But anyways, grunge metal, maybe ish, you know. Leather jackets and long hair, but not well kept. That's for sure. Nothing glammy about us. Anyways, we're all eating their food and whatnot, and they're looking around at us like with this like total disdain. Like, who the fuck let these losers in? What are they doing here at our record release party? And I'm pretty sure this is Master. They're so fucking cheap because we visited Busta Rhymes' house and saw how he was living, and they were so cheap that they just basically shoehorned us in on a guest list at someone else's record release party. That's how they're showing us they're well connected in the big time music biz, right? And the other story was early on. So we're over there. I think it might have been part of our second European tour. Was it the first? Anywho, remember I told you about how they thought they had us for 2 records. What they planned to do was they were going to basically, they assumed that they would be able to talk us into doing the second record with them. And they had all went ahead and pre-sold 2 albums, distribution to 2 albums by us to a lot of labels, including Gemco. And during the course of that little mini tour, this guy, Ivan Purvis, who was the A&R guy working for Master, who was basically touring with us, kind of acting as sort of a road manager. I don't know what else. But he's on tour with us, and I think it was dawning on him, right, that we had fucked up their deal. They went around and collected advances from a bunch of, distribution companies in different countries, with this being a promise. This was promised that it was going to be 2 GWAR albums, and at this point during this tour, it's now, he knows that's not going to happen. We're not going to do it. Dave's been adamant. No, it was a one-off. That's what we signed for. It's rock solid. It's in the contract. Our lawyer, explains that. So anyhow, Ivan Purvis he's starting to get more and more depressed as it all just starts, the reality of the situation starts crashing in on him, and Master Records, that they're in some deep shit. If not fraud, they have to return, advances that distribution companies gave them for our second record. And he's drunk. He got pretty wasted sometimes, but anyway, he's drunk, and we're in the lounge, and I'm sitting at one of those tour bus tables. I don't know if you've been inside a tour bus, but there's usually a table aside, and usually there's 2 bench seats, 2 persons each, on the bench seat, whatever. But I'm sitting directly across from him in the front lounge table. And I'm watching him, and he's got a lighter in his hand, and he's just flicking it, like he's deep in thought, just thinking about something. It's kind of, and he looks kind of depressed, actually. And so he lights the lighter, and then he goes over to the tour bus curtains, right next to the window. And I'm watching him as he's doing this, and I'm thinking to myself, he's not really going to light those curtains, is he? He's not going to light those curtains on fire. I think this guy is that depressed. I think he is going to light the fucking bus curtains on fire. And he puts the flame to the curtains, man. They start to go up. And that's finally when I said something. I screamed, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he like snaps out of a trance. He beats it out with his hands, before they could get big. And yeah, man, I don't, after that tour, it took us forever just to get our our Scumdogs of the Universe master tapes back from him. That was a big mystery. That floated around and under people's beds and in closets and all sorts of shit. Because he was the last one to have them. And for some reason, he decided he wanted to hold on to them for a while. And just one of those things that had to be run down. But yeah, him one time is that, and there was another time he came over to the United States and hung out with us for a couple of weeks, and he was so drunk he just walked into Muscle's room at 801, the 801 studio. Muscle had a bedroom, bunk bed, bunk room with, I guess, Chuck, thinking. He just walks into his room, walks to the corner, and starts pissing in the corner. Fucking Muscle jumps up and screams at him, "What the fuck are you doing?" Same reaction. He grabs my jacket. He grabs my flannel jacket, and he mops up the piss with it in a panic, like thinking it's a towel or some shit like that. It's like, you fuck. It's double damage. Dungeons and Dragons, double damage. Pisses in someone's room and then uses my jacket to mop it up. Thanks for subscribing, Dub. Appreciate it. So those of you that are new, or those of you watching or first time, if you watch this on Twitch, I do these every Friday night. I'll be doing these every Friday night on Twitch, Rumble, and YouTube. But the primary focus is on YouTube, building up the presence on YouTube. So if you know of GWAR fans who need to hear this sort of shit, want to hear this sort of stuff, please, by all means, send them to YouTube. I need to build up the subscriber list so that I can eventually monetize that channel again and bring back my YouTube presence to its former glory. I'm hoping. We'll see. Seems like 15,000 subscribers seems like that just seems insurmountable. It sounds like Mount Everest to me, but got to start somewhere. I made it there before. I don't know if this show will be as popular, but I can't do sleazy on YouTube, so I'm banned from that. But I can do this, and I know that there is there is a bunch of people who are interested, I assume, and on YouTube, and so I'll keep plugging away. Other than that, I guess I'm going to call it quits for tonight. Was that a 2-hour show? I really appreciate you showing up. I really appreciate your contributions, big time. Those of you, if you would like to, on Twitch, join the rest of us over on as we channel raid VJ ENIAC. I do this as a courtesy to him. But yeah, if you got nothing else going on and you want to listen to some EDM and watch some cool animation, join the rest of the Twitch followers, viewers, for a channel raid on VJ ENIAC. VJ ENIAC. Yeah. The rest of you, I will be closing out the rest of these platforms shortly. But thank you, and I will see you tomorrow night. Don't forget, tomorrow night on Rumble, the usual sleazy live from the bunker on every channel except Twitch. Tomorrow night. Twitch followers, go to VG ENIAC now. The rest of you, I will see you somewhere else. But I'll be back here 11 o'clock, or excuse me, 10 o'clock Friday nights, usually. Maybe 11 sometimes, but mostly trying to go for 10 o'clock now, Friday. So I think it makes it a lot easier to understand and remember, even though I just did my scroll says I'm on at 11 on Fridays. That was dumb. I don't know if I'm going to have to change that. Anywho, thanks for showing up tonight. And Sleazy's not chicken oot, but I'm going to say goodbye now. Thanks for being here. I love you. I'll never forget